In Chapter 9 of Herd Mentality, we talk about crisis management and resilience. And that word resilience is an incredibly important word in today's workforce or volunteer force environments. Resilience is something that we see played out a lot at the horse rescue, because you have to consider this horses. What we deal with are the abused, the neglected, the forgotten, the given up on horses. So maybe that horse can't pull as much or work as hard as it used to, so they just get rid of it and get another one. Or maybe when it was born just wasn't as pretty enough, or its conformation wasn't what they were hoping for, so they just dump it. They dump these horses at an auction to get a little bit of cash from them, and then the auction tries to sell them. And if they can't, they load them on a truck and move them to another auction. If they can't, they load them on a truck and move them to another auction. And sometimes we're actually intercepting a horse that's been in 3 or 4 different states, riding on a trailer between auctions, and no one wants them. And if they don't get intercepted, a lot of times the next stop is across the border where they are slaughtered for their meat. So that horse comes in, it's got a lot of trauma, right? And so we watch the resilience inside this animal to heal, to learn to trust, and to do better. But it's not only resilience of that individual animal, but it's also resilience of the rest of the herd, because we have some sanctuary animals here, animals that we've rescued, some horses we've rescued that we can't adopt out because their physical conditions are too bad, their medications or the therapies, things they need cost too much for us to adopt out, so we just keep them and we take care of them, right? So they're having to deal with the constant change that's happening all the time. So they also show us a great amount of resilience. The truth is, when you went to bed last night and you got up this morning, the amount of information available on the planet doubled. Think about that. It doubles every 12 hours. So that means change is constant no matter what. AI is taking over the world, meaning change is constant no matter what. So resilience becomes one of the core things that we need to see in every employee. So the tip we want to give you is add questions about resilience to your interview process. Ask behavioral questions about resilience to get a gauge and see, is this person a resilient person? Yes or no. Now remember, behavioral interview questions are ones that are posed like, tell me about a time, walk me through. They're things that they're open-ended, that invite stories, because we're story-formed people, and that's what we want to hear, and that's what we like to tell, is to tell those stories. But it's really hard to fake a story. We can see through the genuineness of the story, right? We can tell if someone's true or not. And so let me give you a few ideas of what you might say. Try things like this. Tell me about a time you faced a significant setback at work. How did you handle that? Or describe a situation where you made a mistake or failed at something. What did you learn about that, and how did you recover from it? Can you share an experience where unexpected changes completely altered your plans, and how did you adjust? Describe a project where you faced repeated obstacles. What did you do to keep pushing through? Now let's say that you're hiring someone who's going to be the leader of a team or the manager of a team. We want to know how they manage resilience within the team. So here's a couple questions you can ask them that help you see, are they good at managing people and keeping people resilient on their team? So first you were looking at their resilience. Now let's look at the team's resilience. Ask them something like, tell me about a time when you had to convince others to keep pushing forward despite difficulties. How'd you do it? Have you ever worked with a difficult team or manager? How did you maintain your composure and productivity? Describe a situation where you had to start over on a project due to unforeseen issues. How did you handle that? Add resilience to your interview process. Next time you bring a candidate in, not only do you ask them things you're always looking for, but also ask a couple of these questions that show you whether or not they're wired for the resilient workforce that we need today.